Right, what's going on, everybody? My name is Terminus, and today we are going to react to Jujutsu Kaisen, episodes 9 and 10, double episode. I did that on another reaction of mine. I don't know if it came out yet, probably not. But episode 9 and 10, we're gonna try this double episode thing, see if it works out. Last time when I recorded it actually worked out pretty well. Here's how it's gonna go really quick. We're gonna talk a little bit about episode 8 for a short period, then we're going to jump over, we're going to watch episode 9. The usual stuff's going to be in the description down below, and the edited one is going to be right here, and then we have a little interlude where we talk a little bit about episode 9 and what I can immediately tell, then we jump into episode 10, watch episode 10, and then we talk about both of them. Pretty straightforward, right? So let's get into JJK episode 8 for a second and see what actually happened. Before that, by the way, I do have a new mic setup. You probably see it over here. I just turned it upside down, seeing if that works a little bit better in terms of like the sound quality. If you do notice any like background noises that are higher, or if you do think that the voice is actually better at this point, do let me know. But yeah, let's see what happened last time. We did meet the classmates. We did actually meet Maki and Panda and forgot his name, like Bonito Flakes dude. We met them previously already, but now we've actually been meeting somebody from a different school. So very interesting. Mai seems to be the twin sister of Maki, but at the same time seems to be in a different school. I do wonder what that's about. We did also get to know a little bit something about the fact that Maki is actually not really sensitive for this whole curse stuff. She can't see any curses without her glasses. She can't create any or control any cursed energy, so because supposedly all humans have cursed energy because they come from emotions. So very interesting to learn that she's just I guess she was born into a family that was already involved with all of that jujutsu stuff, and she and her sister made it a point to be like, you know what, I'm gonna show them all. I mean, her sister supposedly probably can see cursed energy if we go by the fact that she doesn't have glasses, and that she has, like, I think she infuses bullets or whatever weapon she has with cursed energy. We learn more and more about how different people use this system. We have like this light magic system that we have in different ways, which is really, really cool. Kind of reminds me of all of the key talk when it comes to Asian culture, especially also Japanese culture, the energy of the mind, the energy of the spirit, willpower, and your ability to control your emotions, and let them loose when you need to, but in a controlled manner, rein them in when you need to. I mean, we had the same thing with Gojo when he taught Yuji how to keep his flow of cursed energy constant. Yeah, and the two of them here have already learned that, and our upperclassmen have too. I don't remember his name. Maybe I'll let me just put up those. Because he's been like a notorious guy, right? And she talks about Vessel. I find it interesting that she's like, she's a little bit sadistic when it comes to, or supposedly, right? She's smiling, she's all like, but yeah, for them, Skuna's vessel was just Skuna's vessel, right? It wasn't a person. They didn't really put that into mind, right? It was somebody they heard about that they didn't meet personally. It didn't like, obviously, if you're a person who is very sensitive and empathetic, you're probably gonna be aware that this is a human being you're talking about, and even empathizing with them, even if you don't know much about them. But that's not everyone, right? And as long as you, in your head, do not consider somebody to be human, and as long as that person isn't humanized within your point of view, it makes sense that they would talk about it in that way, because it brings up a lot of difficulties, right? Because there's a huge pool of power that is now walking around your school that could break out at any time and give you major trouble. maybe even cost your comrades your life, so it makes sense. I'm only here to see if these guys are fit to take Okotsu's place. Interesting that Okotsu, who's supposedly a second year, who we haven't met yet, is... I do wonder if he's the one that we saw at the end of the episode. Interesting that he's talking like Okotsu is not gonna be in the tournament, so very interesting. We do have that little... Of course, everybody needs somebody who is super quirky and whatnot, and we do have that, like, what kind of woman do you like talk, and he's... Those faces say it all. They're not impressed, they're really annoyed. But yeah, he's one of those people, and I mean, I don't mind it at all, to be honest. You sometimes, like, you need all kinds of people. Variety is always great. And I do wonder what dynamic he brings to the eventual tournament that we're probably gonna see, that we've been building up to. What's his name? Because I didn't see it. Alright, he was Todo. Okay, Todo. We have Geto, who is like the curse user dude that we know, kind of like this passive trickle of information that we're getting of all of the things we didn't know about. I do really like if a series, like when a series does it like this, that they trickle in the information, not give you huge exposition dumps, but they're like, oh, there's this thing and there's this thing, and you actually need to pay attention to be like, oh wait, that got mentioned before, and make the connection. And you don't always, which makes for... It's not a problem in my opinion, because if you don't, right, if you haven't retained that information, it makes for an amazing surprise, and you then the things clicking in your head, and you're like, oh yes, that's true. And if it's not, if you actually detected all of that stuff, you're like, oh yeah, I knew it. I knew there was something. So I really like that. And we have the second classman of our school kind of protecting, right? We're like... like yeah, I like that where Panda was like, me Panda, I mean not understand human language. I'm like, okay, dude, you're just trolling him. And Nobara is very smart, right? She knows that it's gonna be difficult, so she's gonna stay down, and wait what Mai is doing here, and Maki actually confronts her, and then Nobara is like, my time to strike. There you go, bitch. But yeah. We have that little tidbit with him being a total, like, idol otaku, and Nobara actually getting to know a little bit more about Maki, and starting to admire her, which is great. That is an amazing shot. She is very, very beautiful. Yeah, and her attitude is amazing. So yeah, and we have that little talk between Gojo and whoever. I don't want to look it up forever now, but however he's called, one of the elders here who is leading the other school. He's like, dude, look, Principal Gakuganji, that is a name. Yeah, he's like, dude, look, stop with this bullshit, with these fucking politics. We're gonna have enough trouble. I met like a curse, an incarnated curse who can talk, and like our recruits are getting stronger and stronger now, potentially also a little bit out of control. A new age is coming, and you're so afraid of it, and you're trying to hold it back, but you're not gonna be able to. Love his celebrity status here, and he's mentioning those, right, the new ones. Yuji, we have Todo and Yuji, and we do have the other one in the middle, who I do think is Okotsuru, or however he's being called. I'm sure we're gonna see that, and he's like, disrespect of the youth, which, yeah, I mean, generational conflict, right? You do have different ideas of what's right and what's wrong, different ideas of how to do things, and obviously there's gonna be somewhat of a clash of the old generation and the new one, and we do have that teaser coming up with this boy here, who's certainly not in the intro, sitting squatting right next to Yuji, confronting our I forgot his name, Mato or something, I don't know. Yeah, our potentially curse, probably not human, or at least curse user, and we do have Yuji with our mentor sensei dude here, probably gonna get to know him better next time in front of the kinema cinema. And that was it, right? Yeah, I'd say we get into it. Well, we're gonna look everything up. I think 1 or 2 episodes in the future I probably want to look up like voice actors of the new people, because that's gonna be interesting when the tournament comes up. We're gonna be like, all right, who voices who, and if you know it, you can drop it in the comments down below. That either I'm gonna read it in 2 or 3 episodes when I actually do it, or I'm gonna read it in the comments, which is also cool, right? Voice actor information, I don't mind that. Drop it down here. They also voiced X, Y, Z, whatever. It's cool. I do love to see that, and also to learn to hear that properly, because sometimes you hear it and sometimes you don't. Just recently doing the Spice and Wolf review, I didn't hear it when we actually had the same voice actors, but that's because it's been quite a while since the anime aired, right? Been quite a while since we had any adaptation content in the Spice and Wolf genre, in the Spice and Wolf like series. But yeah, we'll get right into it. Check out my Discord, check out my Patreon, give me a like and subscribe, but more on that later. Right, Jujutsu Kaisen episode 9 starts in a 3, a 2, a 1. Oh, immediately you like the angle, right? With the shadows. Looking up at the sky. Very unique. Ooh. Backstory. Yoshino. I probably wouldn't. Okay. I probably would. Ooh, okay. That is a shot to start with. Creating humans. Okay. Oh yeah, it's a movie. Does he notice? No. And talking right during the movie. So he's a high schooler as well. Alright. Some people are just looking for trouble. Ooh, it's gonna get backlash for that, but... Right. But he's honest, right? It's building, right? What are we looking at? Ooh. Oh, he's done. Oh, I do wonder if this is before he becomes a Jujutsu sorcerer, actually. Maybe this is the first time he sees something like that. Looks like it for sure. I can't believe I didn't put that together until now. Yeah, he doesn't know anything about it. So this is his first brush with it. Interesting. Maybe this is 2 incidents. Or this is the one Yuji's actually investigating. Not really, but it's not right, right? 3 against 1, that's not nice. And there's a lot of negative emotions going on, so... Oh... He's playing for the other side? Maybe. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming. Okay, cool. Interesting that he's like that Megumi is in the underground and that Nobara is at the open sky, and he is on a tower, right? Like a viewpoint, a vantage point. We talked about Yuji in the water before, so can mean a lot like submerged, still in a dream, right? He's sleeping in the intro, but also knee deep in water, right? The saying. Yeah, more and more people, and this is the two of them. So I do wonder if he's a sleeper agent or if this is him just getting to know this world and Yuji's gonna meet him and then they're gonna... Reverse retribution. And then we do have probably a cinema worker who found them. Yeah, bro believes in the supernatural.
見えますか？これが呪力の残影です。いや、全然見えない。それは見ようとしないからです。
Ooh.
当たり前のように呪いを視認しています。術式を行使すれば痕跡が残る。
No, reading the traces.
目を凝らしてよーく見てください。
His head is gonna explode. Ooh.
当然です。見る前に手配で悟
He turned into Batman. I've heard his voice before, like the blonde guy.
けなしもしませんよ。事実に即し己を律する。社会も同様であると勘違いしていた時期もありましたが、その話はいいでしょう。
Straight to the point.
そこそこで済むならそこそこで。
なんか噛み合わないな。
There's nothing.
でも安心して信用できる後輩呼んだから。脱サラ呪術師の七海健人君。
Kento.
言い方やめてください。
Accelerator.
旧呪術師だし。
他の方もあなたには言われたくないでしょうね。
グラさん、目隠してる人多いな。なんで初めから呪術師になんなかったんですか？
Yeah.
はじめまして、虎杖君。
あ、はい。はじめまして。
私が高専で学び気づいたことは、呪術師はクソということです。
You all suck.
企業で働き気づいたことは、労働はクソということです。
They suck too.
同じクソならより適性のある方。出戻ったり。
Fair enough, dude. Fair enough.
くらいね。
私と五条さんが同じ考えとは思わないでください。私はこの人を信用しているし信頼している。
But
でも尊敬はしてません。上のやり口は嫌いですが、私はあくまで規定側です。要するに、私もあなたを術師として見。
alright. So how?
ていても、己は有用であるとそう示すことに。
And you gotta prove useful. Alright.
俺が弱くて使えないことなんて、ここ最近嫌というほど思い知らされてる。でも俺は強くなるよ。強くなきゃ死に方さえ選べねえからな。言われなくても認めさせてやっからさ。もうちょい待っててよ。
Ain't gonna click with him.
いえ、私ではなく上に行ってください。ぶっちゃけ私はどうでもいい。
はいはい。
Boy, I don't give a fuck. You just.
つってなかったんだよね。
ええ、被害者以外は少年が1名。
Alright. Young man could also be a suspect, right?
でもなくはないですが、そちらの特定は警察。
Ooh. Okay, what was that? More negative emotions.
Stop. こちらは私が片付けます。
You handle the other one. Yeah. Okay.
勝てないと。
It's so weird, like the designs.
ちょっと舐めすぎじゃない、俺のことは。
I do feel though like the weaker ones do seem less defined.
君は子供。私には君を自分より優先する義務があります。
I'm responsible for you.
使いなら舐め められた方が良かったよ。
Of
君はい
course.
くつか視線を超えてきた。でもそれで大人になったわけじゃない。お気に入りの惣菜パンがコンビニから姿を消した。
Old people stuff.
それが人を大人にするのです。
You gotta spend some more time to be an adult. Which, fair enough, right? We'll talk about that. Oh, I do like this track, right? They have a very unique, like, style of tracks.
どんな相手にも強制的に弱点を作り出すことができます。
Create a weak point.
出ることができればクリティカルヒット。私より
Alright.
もそれなりのダメージを与えることができますし、弱いものであればこの生倉でも両断できます。聞いてますか、虎杖君。
You're like, dude, what? I'm busy.
バラすことでミスリード
呪いに集中したいけど、話は聞かなきゃダメっぽい。
メリットはあります。手の内を晒すという縛りが術式効果を底上げするのです。こんな風に。
Alright, show me your moves, old man. We have light blue. Oh, I do like that with the goggles. The way it looks, right? It's being visualized. Like a video game almost. The reflection on the shoes, that was great.
私からは以上です。
そもそも刀身がぐるぐる巻きなのに、その上峰打ちでぶった切った。
虎杖君後ろ。
Pay attention, dude. Bro's still green.
感心しませんね。
Bro wants to drink some bleach. Alright, here we go, here we go.
有事の呪力はさ、遅れてやってくるね。
Oh, Gojo has been kicking his ass.
追いついてない。呪力をとどめる。
Also, can this man not look
責任残りがち。
bad?
変則的な呪力の流れを作ってる。認識した直後に呪力がぶつかってくる。つまり一度の打撃に二度のインパクトが生まれる。
Ooh, okay. Double punch. Give him the old Itadori special. Ooh, of course. Of course he finds a cool name for it.
これは大きな武器になる。
素の力が人間離れしているのか、微力ながら波の術師の 120% 成立している。そこに流れ込んでくる本命の呪力、やられる方は想像以上に嫌でしょうね。 100% の体術に 100% の呪力を乗せられるようになれば、あの人が連れてきただけあるわけだ。
Yes, potential.
失礼、今とどめを。
Ooh, wild panel.
とどめは待ってください。これを見てください。
呪霊ってこういうの映んないんじゃ。
落ち着いて聞いてください。私たちが戦って
Are not curses.
人間だよ。
Turned humans.
人間と言った方がいいかな。
Oh, holy shit.
三人と同じだな。
Mm-hmm.
呪術で体の形を無理やり変えられてる。
それだけなら初めに気づけますよ。私たちが戦った二人には呪霊のように呪力が
Mm.
そればっかりは犯人に術式のことを聞くしかないな。
They're
ただの
almost indistinguishable from curses.
ここまでいじれるなら呪力を使えるように人間を改造することも可能かもしれん。
So I do wonder.
関係はまだまだブラックボックスだからな。虎杖は聞いてるか？
うっす。
こいつらの死因はざっくり言うと体を改造させられたことによるショック死だ。君が殺したんじゃない。
Yeah, don't feel guilty about that. But he will a little bit.
どっちもさ、俺にとっては同じ重さの他人の死だ。もうこれは趣味が悪すぎだろ。
この子は他人のために本気で怒れるのだな。そう
Okay.
なやり手です。
They're
これ
clever.
はそこそこでは済みそうにない。気張っていきましょう。
おう、
特級仮想音量、そう呼ばれる呪霊がいる。実在しなくとも共通認識のあるイフのイメージは強力な呪いとなって権限しやすい。
It's kinda like Chainsaw Man, I guess.
有名な妖怪や怪談ってことですか？
トイレの花子さんとか𝗠𝘂の陽子とかいろいろ正体不明の強力な呪いもとりあえず仮想音量としてカテゴライズするあたり、それしか見えてないって感じだよね。でも人々が常に恐れているのはそんな音じゃないだろ。
There's vague concepts as well.
君との会話はストレスがなくて助かるよ。いや、そんな。
There's a lot of darkness in that boy. A lot of potential for him.
人々は大地を、森を、海を恐れてきた。それらに向けられた呪力は大きすぎるがゆえに、形を得る前に知恵をつけ、今まで息を潜めている。
Ooh, so we do have natural disaster curses?
誇らしい俺の仲間さ。
真人さんは何の呪いなんですか？
人間。俺は人が人を憎み、恐れたはず。
Ooh.
た呪いだよ。
Humanity, right? Very interesting.
失踪者、変死者、窓による残影の報告をまとめました。これである程度犯人のアジトが絞られます。
Question is there just one, right? One individual, or is it?
私は調査を続けますので、虎杖君には別の仕事を。映画館にいた少年吉野純平。
Junpei Yoshino. Okay, nobody we've. Okay.
旧姓だそうです。彼が呪詛師である可能性は低いと考えていました。ただ被害者と関係があるとなれば話は
Related or has seen something or whatever.
悪質な呪術師のことです。手順は伊地知君に任せてあるので、二人で吉野純平の調査をお願いします。
Okay.
そういや俺、伊地知さん以外の補助の人知らねえよ。
Haven't seen one yet.
君が生きてるって知ってるの私だけですから。
Yeah, makes sense, makes sense.
ある程度ではなく、もう分かっているんですよね。
もちろん、犯人はその気になれば残影なんて残さずに現場を立ち去れる。
But he left clues.
単身乗り込むリスクと虎杖君を連れて行くリスク、前者を選んだまでです。
Alright.
彼はまだ子供ですから。
なんだ先生、言い忘れてた。気をつけてね。
私は教職じゃないので先生はやめてください。
じゃあナナミン、
引っ叩きますよ。
I will slap you.
あれ？私服？
本人はしばらく行っていないみたいですね。
He is troubled for sure. But I feel like he's the kind of person who would be swaying on either side, right? Not really inconspicuous, huh? What are those things? Let's see.
ナナミン、お出かけしよう。
いえ、遠慮します。
He's so soon. This guy. Ooh. Idle Transfiguration. Interesting title and interesting preview. Might be seeing... I don't know his name. Mato, I think. Fighting. It wouldn't be the first time I named somebody wrong. So... apologies if that's the case, but we'll look over it. We'll see what's happening, and then we'll see what's happening for real, right? All right, let's talk about it, shall we? Let's get through it for a second. Again, I do love the shots of these angles, right? Because it's not a usual angle. You do see like it's probably midday because the sun is all the way up. The shadow of the building, in the shadow of the building, you do feel like you're standing in the shadow of the building looking up at the the side of the building that's being lit up by the scorching sun, and you do have that fence on the other side and the green. We get the real feeling that you're here, and we do meet Yoshino. And he's having some inner monologue, right? We do hear a little bit something about his motivation, which makes me believe maybe, I mean, obviously he can still turn out to be a bad guy, but maybe he's gonna be on our side, right? He's the person who could swing either way. If there was a button that would make everyone I hate die, I probably wouldn't push it. But if there was a button that would make everybody who hates me die, I would. It's very interesting. I mean, you do definitely do have hate for people like this, right? But maybe you don't hate them as much as you hate them hating you, right? Because the animosity is not coming from him. Human Earth 1-3, creating humans. With the syringe, I love it. And another one was just like dogs. And he seems very, very inside of his shell, right? Relatively meek, relatively not outward, not definitely not extroverted, definitely not being a person who is establishing his own will, right? Who is defending himself often. Now obviously we do see these cheerful sides of him, which is very interesting, because we do see glimpses of good in there, glimpses of just a normal boy who just wants to live his life, right? And have fun and whatever. And we do have these assholes. And at some point, right, apparently he got told by somebody, right, that he's been looking at her supposedly. Maybe even by her herself, but she just wants to reconfirm her worth, right? By making all of these guys do this for her. That is for her a matter of, yeah, because I was the one in question, right? They sprung at the opportunity, and that is where she gets her self-esteem from, right? Her satisfaction, her own standing in society. At least this is what he is saying here, what he is surmising. She's just using me to see where she stands, and she's enjoying it, which, yeah, I mean, must have learned it from someone, right? Parents, right? Other people, right? Peers, whatever. These people are obviously happy to do so because she's a hot chick, and maybe they think they have chances with her and whatever. And these guys here, they seem on a similar line then, kind of like on a similar line as the other guys that were bullying him. I don't think it's the same ones. It doesn't seem that way, right? The way he reacts and whatever, he's just annoyed at the type of person it is, right? Being loud in the cinema, not letting other people not hear the movie properly or see the movie properly, and just disturbing everything around them because they think they own the world, basically. Not really, but right, they're not thinking about other people, right? We have Mato here, and this effect is so cool, him just supposedly just appearing out of nowhere. Yeah, I do wonder. He says later he is kind of representing the fear of humans have for, or the fear and hatred, the negative emotions humans have for one another, which is very interesting. Oh, they might actually be the same people. Okay. I mean, he's less hesitant and fearful in that regard. I didn't quite make the connection immediately that those are the people. I had the thought in the beginning. I was like, maybe all of this hatred and negative emotion that he's having, because at that time I didn't know in which time all of this plays. Maybe this has created Mato to begin with, right? And Mato was like a cursed creation of him, and then he enacted his revenge upon these students, and maybe there's been another incident with students in a cinema, and that has been the incident that Yuji is going to, but we are talking about the actual same incident. and Mato is just his own being, right? His own curse, and he can supposedly change people into monstrosities. There is still being alive and existing, but maybe mad and dazed and whatever, and almost indistinguishable from from normal curses, as we have seen later on. And he runs to him, he's like, did you do that? And he's like, is that a problem? He's like, can you teach me your ways? And I'm like, whoa, I didn't expect this twist. But yeah, he has a lot of hatred, a lot of darkness inside there, right? There's a lot of stuff happening. Holy shit, a cigarette. Was that implying that they, right, burned into his skin with cigarette or something? It looks like it at the very least. Or maybe they just propped him up to let him look like he's a fucking delinquent or something after they beat him up. Either way, and the rain starts falling. You do have a lot of rainy weather in this series. Like, I do think, right, the way he looks in this shot, and I do think that's him, right? I do think that is him. So the way he looks in this shot feels like Yuji is probably gonna try to maybe get him on our side. We do have the police tapes, the rain. Again, so much rain, right? I mean, obviously, I do know there's rainy seasons in Asia especially, where it just constantly rains, but it's a mood setter, isn't it? And we have this guy, he's like, don't ask questions. And we do learn how to use, like, how to read cursed tracks, right? Almost like detective vision in the Batman Arkham games or whatever. And this guy, he's very eccentric, but also by the book. He's like, I'll do things the way I do. You gotta prove yourself. I don't joke around. But he's not that, right? He cares about people. He's just a Tsun. To a degree. Nanami Kento. Alright, 𝔸𝕓𝕠𝕦𝕥. And he was like, I had the talent, but I saw that all the Jujutsu sorcerers shit. And you're just like, what the fuck? Where did you pick this guy up? And he's like, and then I worked normally and I saw that it was shit as well. So I just went for the thing I can do better. And yes, I mean, sometimes that's just how it works, right? You think something is shit, you're discovering it, and then you're like going to the next thing, you see, okay, that's just as shit as the other one. What do I do now, right? And then you just move back to the other one because you were like, I mean, it was a little bit better. I at least I could do it properly, right? At least it worked and all that. But yeah, Gojo and Yuji are like, this dude, holy shit. And they're the goofballs, right? Gojo and Yuji, they're the goofballs. Always, or most of the time in a good mood. Obviously, deep down, there's a lot of serious emotions going on too, right? Yuji feels guilty, he feels sad, he feels responsible, he feels this huge weight on his shoulders, but outwards he is also a very cheerful guy, and that is what connects him kind of to Gojo, in my opinion. And we do the investigation, we look up and we see some curses, and we're fighting them, right? And he has this technique where he pinpoints a weak point or whatever, or he magically creates one or whatever, and he can kill some people. He's constantly talking to him. He's trying to teach him stuff. It's like, dude, can you stop? I try to concentrate on fighting that monster here. But yeah, some of these shots are amazing. Look at that, like the reflection in the water, the shiny boots. Very distinct style, very cool. And like in a video game, like a finisher in a Persona game or some shit. And we are on, interestingly enough, that almost looks like it's like a baseball court or something on top of a rooftop, on top of a cinema. Interesting. Or maybe it's the next building over, I don't know. Either way, we do have some very funny animation, right? With him just blocking, and we see the wiggliness of the movement again, right? Out of focus, we spring into focus as we focus on Yuji, and he's trying to regain balance. Camera shake, right? And he slips on the water down there, and he's tumbling around. I do love how they do that. Really, really well done. You can feel it, and he's developing his own curses, and it's a little bit slow apparently. Your cursed energy can't keep up with your explosive power, so he does have that power, and yeah, he's still not good at amassing cursed energy, so it tends to lag behind. He's like, but that actually creates an irregular flow of cursed energy. Okay, so you're interrupting the flow, right? Your fist strikes, the cursed energy comes afterwards, right? Like you hit something and then the tidal wave comes. Really, really cool, and obviously he has a cool name for it. And I was like, can Gojo not look cool in anything? No, he always looks cool. That's just how it is, right? Bro is literally too cool for school, but yeah. We learn a little bit something again, piece by piece, and we do see, damn, curses don't show up on pictures normally. We've been killing humans, shit. And I think what she's doing here is really nice. She's like, look, you can't blame this on yourself. They were basically monsters at this point. The curse turned them and they were more or less dead already. Although, holy shit. Second time now. Although I am not sure if this is actually the case or if she's just saying it to make her feel better, make him feel better. But either way, it's a nice sentiment. And he's like how Yuji can get angry on behalf of others, how his sense of justice is, right, and his empathy with other people. And it's just flooding, right? It's raining. And we're in the sewers just talking to one another here. Complete guide to Japanese apparitions. So we learned something new once again. We learned that Jujutsu sources mainly classify apparitions or classify curses based on what apparitions exist in mythology, because that is what people think of. And if you have a common fear or a common like target for hatred or whatever, right? Back in the day, you also put a lot of like the bad juju you had, the bad things that were happening to you on curses, right? Or on the gods, on whatever, right? On something, right? On oni, on demons and spirits and whatnot and folklore. And as a result of that, I do assume, and also modern thinking, right? You have common fears. There ends up being a lot of stronger curses that represent those emotions, those fears and whatever. And maybe the Jujutsu sorcerers are actually amplifying that, right? The fact that they often categorize powerful, unidentified curses as potential apparitions makes it feel like that's all they're focused on. But he points out there's other things, more vague things, right? Or grander concepts that actually exists in reality, but the fear of it exists as well. Natural disasters, right? The mountains, right? It's more, although with the mountains, it's more what happens when I'm on the mountain, right? There's landslides, there's thunderstorms happening there, right? There's cave-ins. And we're afraid of these things. Volcanoes, we're afraid of volcanoes, right? Breaking out. We're afraid of like natural disasters in the ocean, right? Drowning or tsunamis or whatever. Those are a little very undefined. And I guess when they accumulate to so many different concepts that are very close to one another and accumulate to one thing, because you're afraid of the ocean now. You're afraid to swim in the ocean because all the scary things, right? All the animals as well in the ocean and whatnot. And he is impressed, right? This is his senpai, basically. And he's like, humans have always feared, right? And now we do see that, right? Nature, the forest, which is Hanami, I think it was. We have, what was his name? Something with J. Jugo or something, like volcano, right? And we do have like probably the ocean is some kind of Cthulhu monster down there. Or maybe it's the squid thing we saw in the weird other dimensional space that that Gato actually walked in a couple of episodes ago. But either way, he looks like Cthulhu. And he's like, I'm Mahito, that's his. Not Mato, but Mahito. Okay. A human one. Curse that was born from the hatred and fear people hold in their guts towards one another, right? This conflict, this human conflict is constant. This creating negative emotions, fear and hatred and whatever. You're afraid of being mugged or being taken advantage of. You're afraid of being like killed, right? R-worded. All of these things. This is human conflict. This is human hatred and sadness and emotion and fear. And we're following this guy, right? We got the name. It'll take me a little bit to get the name, but he's been briefing him here. He's like, all right, this dude, Yoshino, Junpei Yoshino. Okay. And I do wonder if he's gonna be a new first-year student, or if he's actually gonna be an antagonist, or if he's gonna be a sleeper cell. Either one of those is going to be interesting. Wonder what he's doing with these, but I'm guessing that this is either a way to see, like, does he react to the curses and see them, or maybe some kind of thing they have in their back pocket in case something goes wrong, right? Or it's maybe a tracking thing, and this is how they found him. Either way, really cool, really cool. Can't wait for the next episode. Let's check it out right here. Jujutsu Kaisen episode 10 starts in a 3, a 2, a 1, a bam. Oh, and maybe we get his story now. Movie club.
超絶絶叫計画って5があんの？
7まであるよ。
Scary movie.
7まで来ると全くの別物だね。パロディ映画ですらないし。
Of course.
じゃあ何映画なの？
グダグダなシットコムプラス家系ホラー。
何それ
1の主人公の孫と2の犯人の孫と3で最初に死ぬやつの孫とかがひょんなことからシェアハウスに住むことになったんだ。
The crazy storyline you go to.
つまんなそう。
死ぬほどつまんないよ。
Sounds convoluted as fuck.
でも面白いのがさ、5と6で出てきた。
なんでいんの？ここ俺らの部室にするから使うなって言ったよな。
Used to school conflicts, man.
出なかったからもういいのかなって思って。
Damage of property? Hello?
いや、だからその。
いいからさっさと出ていけよ、ゴキブリども。次使ったら飛んでもらうからな。 お、当たり。おい、何やってるんだよ。何？
持って帰るから。
あ？
足溶けて。おい、やめろって。これ持って帰るから。足溶けてくれる。
He's taking the hit, but he got what he wanted. There's a lot brooding in there. You know what to say, what goes around comes around. I do assume this is like a drawn shot of Tokyo. It's very interesting to look at Tokyo Tower in the background. Interesting that Nobara is going from the darkness, right, the shadow of the building, into the light. And there's like one of those art things behind Zenin Senpai. And we're always zooming and not these two.
好きの反対は無関心なんて初めに言った人はちゃんと地獄に落ちたでしょうか。
Alright, interesting.
人と関わることが関わらないより正しいなんてありえない。日本人って好きですよね。 シンプルな答えを複雑にして別に浸るの。
それ考えたの日本人じゃないよ。
Oh, okay.
もともとどこかの外国の人が言ったのは、愛の反対は無関心ですよね。
The opposite of love is indifference.
愛ってのはいろんな定義があるから、大義に無関心が成り立つと思うんです。
Smart boy.
でも愛って普段使わないじゃないですか。だからそれがこの国では
Especially in Japanese.
好きに変換されて、愛、無関心の大義が成り立つかどうかなんて誰も考えずに広まったっていうか。
みんな言葉遊びが好きなのさ。なぜなら人間は言い訳をしないと生きていけないからね。
Never true to ourselves, that's their philosophy, right?
一人の人間をどこまで大きくできるかの実験。
Holy shit, this dude.
逆にそっちはどこまで小さくできるのか試してみた。
人間
It used to be.
順平は死体に慣れてるの？
どうでしょう。それが僕の母だったら取り乱し、
Hmm.
真人さんを憎んでいたかもしれません。でも僕は人間の醜悪さを知っています。
Yeah.
もう期待していないし、他人の死に何も思うところはありませんし、無関心こそ人間の行き着くべき美徳です。
He might be a little bit opposite of Juji.
復讐ね。
言いたいんですか？
I don't think it is.
順平は人に心があると思
ないんですか？
う？ないよ。魂はある。でもそれは心じゃない。
じゃあ
What do you mean?
俺はこの世界で唯一魂の構造を理解してる。
Souls.
てることで生物の形を変えているからね。
Oh, okay, this is how he does it.
はすべて魂の代謝によるものだ。
Okay, so he says the soul has its
機
own.
械的だよ。人は目に見えないものを特別に考えすぎる。魂は肉体と同じで何も特別。
Just part of the puzzle.
重さなんてないんだよ。天地にとっての水のように命もただ巡るだけだ。
It's just nature, it's
それは
just...
俺も君も同じ。
Okay.
無意味で無価値。
Nihilism.
どう生きようと自由なんだ。
Nihilism is justification for moral decay. Okay,
生き様
interesting.
にお腹が減ったら食べるように憎いなら殺せばいい。
And for him, this is a brand new world, right? A whole horizon opening in front of him.
高校にはしばらく行っていないみたいですね。
あいつら元気でやってる？
Perfect.
元気にやっているみたいですよ。
で、どうすんの？
Interesting that this is happening at the same time as we're here right now.
妖刀4級にも満たない低級の呪いです。
Alright, explain what it is.
人気のないところに出たらこいつに彼を襲わせます。
So you're using it as a tool.
できない一般人の場合、
Okay, they want to see you.
虎杖君が救助してください。死認できるが対処する術を持たない場合、
Save him as well.
虎杖君が救助、
But if he can...
聴取をします。呪術で妖刀を払った場合、即時拘束します。
because he's a danger.
5人ならそれでいい。後で謝りましょう。ただ、2級術師以上のポテンシャルが吉野純平にあった場合、一度引いて、七海さんと合流します。
We're dealing with an unknown here.
呪霊と同等級の術師が任務に当たると、つまり、2級術師は2級呪霊に勝つのが当たり前。
It's different with users.
2級呪霊に近い実力というわけです。
なんで俺はそういう大事な情報知らないの？
五条さん、人だから。
Dojo's like, whatever, we deal with it as we go. Flying by the seats of our pants. Love that, right? A person walking through there. Out of focus, it's the little things.
出てくるならさっさとしてください。異形手遅れとはいえ、人を殺めるのは気分が悪い。
I have morals. And we meet Mahito.
よかったよかった。五条悟が来ても困るけど、あんまり弱いと実験にならないからさ。
残業は嫌いなので手早く済ませましょう。
Alright, we got a matchup. We got our two matchups. think this will be a poking and prodding. Oh, Gojo, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, he met it. Oh, no, no, okay. He's comparing him to... Alright, to Gojo. But he can handle himself. Pull back. Alright.
俺ちゃんと受けたよね、呪力で。そういう術式？
他人任せな抽象的な質問。
Leading
おしゃ
question.
べりが嫌いなわけじゃないんだ。
相手によります。ここまで会話が成り立つ呪霊。五条さんの報告にあった未登録の特級呪霊。
Nah, they're popping up everywhere now.
あんたはさ、魂と肉体、どっちが先だと思う？
Chicken or egg?
が先か、鶏が先か、
Mm,
みたいな
right.
話。肉体に魂が宿るのかな？それとも魂に体が肉付け？
Interesting.
前者。
ブッブー。答えは後者。いつだって魂は肉体。
Ooh, okay, okay. And where is it? Before the body?
魂の形に引っ張られる。
And this is how we can change them, right? The body is the extension of yourself.
俺の術式は魂に触れその形を変える。無意転変。
Alright, then that's idle transfiguration.
人間をストックしてるんだ。結構難しいんだよ。一般人は形変え。
He's like a necromancer, kind of, right?
呪術師はどうかな。
Not quite, but
17時半。今日は10時から働いているので、何が何でも18時には上がります。
it's like I'm out at 6. You have that much time. Idle talk, of course, but you know.
どこ行ってたんだ。
Ooh, a friend of his?
ダメじゃないか。学校サボって。
Doesn't seem like a friend.
先生。
Oh, sensei.
さやば西村ほんだ亡くなったって。お前仲良かったよな。
Friends? I'm sorry, what?
それなのに。
I mean, that's how we can see it.
仲良し。僕があいつらと。教師ってどうして学校を務めるから。およそ社会と呼べるものを経験してないですよ。
Don't think that's what it is, but
あんたみたいなでかい子供が出来上がるんでしょうね。
alright. Okay, they implied that.
俺は順平のすべてを。
What does that mean?
何をブツブツ言ってんだ。
Alright, he's gonna die.
おかしくなったか。なんて。こいつ見えてるな。引きますよ、虎杖君。タマ、誰がいる？やべ。よかった。なあ、ちょっと聞きたい。
Oh, like Goto.
なんかして。
Should we talk about personal space again?
このボタン。
待て、今俺が話してるだろ。失礼だな。ああ、いや、かなり大事なようでして。子供が何言ってるんだ。大体どこのセリフ？何すんだこのガキ。やめなさい。
You're just like that dumbfounded him.
そんじゃ行こうぜ。
え、早っ。もう一周してきたの？わざわざあんなことしなくても僕だけ引っ張っていけばよかったんじゃ。
でもお前あいつ嫌い。
He noticed immediately.
なんで？
なんとなく。あ、違った。嫌いなやつにいつまでも家の前いてほしくねえだろ。とりあえずあっち行こうぜ。
Yes. I do wonder if there's gonna be conflict of interest, right? Meeting Mahito so early and then meeting Yuji. But he could be useful, right? He has an insight on both sides now. Holy shit, dude. And we just keep going.
楽しい。
形を変えるのに元の人間の質量は関係ないのか。
He's trying to analyze it.
私の術式とは相性が悪い。
They're all humans.
改造された人間はまず助からん。襲われたら迷わず殺せ。それが被害者のためでもある。
As of now.
ごめん。いっぱい練習したからさ、脳意識の方はまだ精度悪くてさ、そうやって魂の汗がにじみ出ることがあるんだ。気にせず続けよう。
気にしてなんかいません。仕事に市場は持ち込まない主義なの。
嘘が下手。魂が揺らいでいるよ。あんた何級？
一級。
強いわけだ。俺は運がいいね。
Is he gonna get out of this one alive? Or can he resist it, right? Because
スピードが上がってびっくりした。自分の魂の形だって変えられるんだよ。呪術師は呪力で体を守ることはできても、魂を守ることはしてきてない。第一に己の魂を知覚する。でも多少は無意識に魂を呪力で覆っているようだね。
yeah, let me come on, explain all of your stuff. Fake out. Uses the momentum to propel himself back, right? Oh, he's waiting for something, right? He's off now. Ooh, no time to play around. I gotta end this quickly. And another cliffhanger, of course. Alright, lay it on me. What do we do? Ooh, okay.
ここに置いておいたんだけど。あ、パンダ先輩、私の学ラン知らない？
見てないな。
No, not at all.
そっか。どこ行っちゃったのかな。おい、スカートもねえんだぞ。高菜。ゴミどもが。
They never cease to surprise me.
あれ？これマキさんのだ。
こんばんは。釘崎野原です。
Alright. See you on YouTube, I guess. Alright, let's talk about it for a second. Let us see what we have here. Yeah, he's a movie buff. He loves movies, which I can immediately connect to. I do really like movies as well, especially lately. Camera in the corner, a lot of old school like VHS. No, that's actually Blu-ray DVD at this point, BD. And we have yeah, we have a lot of cool stuff, but these guys have their favorite punching bags, and it's them. Just their way to, I guess, feel like they have control over their lives, right? And feel like there's something. They mean something in life if they can intimidate these people here and let out their aggressions on them and see them quivering in fear because it's because of me, right? I'm the big guy and they're afraid of me and they have to listen to me because probably at home they, yeah, ain't nobody gonna listen to them at home, right? They're the ones listening. Probably got that down from their parents or other peers or whatever. That's what makes them feel big. If they can make others feel small, because there's not a way. I mean, there's a lot of other ways you can do that, right? There's a lot of other ways you can build your self-confidence. You can feel like somebody, and a lot nicer ways to do so. There's people in life that are really a sunshine on everybody else's life, and I think being a positive influence always trumps being feared or sucked up to just because you're big and strong and whatever. And yeah. And obviously we do see where all of that hatred is coming from. I do see like this thing behind it looks like one of these art stands, so very curious to see what that is, if that's a hint at something or not for Maki. Either way, he is very intellectual, right? He knows a lot. He is philosophizing, right? He's literally me. He's literally me. No, but really, I identify a lot with him because there's people in life that you just can't get along with, and if it's 3-on-1 or 4-on-1, what are you gonna do, right? I mean, you can defend yourself as good as you can, and you're gonna say what you're gonna say because the truth is the fucking truth, right? But they ain't gonna like it, and their answer to everything they don't like is punch it. So yeah, can understand that he has somewhat of a hatred for the world, or in some cases an indifference to gruesome things happening. Maybe also a fascination for that, right? But that doesn't mean he's a bad person, right? It means he has a lot of issues, and he has a lot of anger and righteousness bubbling in him, and this is why I said he could lean either way, right? I think that if he meets a person that has a positive influence on him, he could very well be a person who has strong convictions at some point, and who isn't afraid to make the hard decisions if it's something he wants to do because he needs to reach a certain goal. I do think he has potential in both of these ways. Grotesque how he turns these monsters. He's like, see how big it is. Indifference is the virtue people ought to strive for. He wants to not care anymore. He wants to not care so bad. Maybe he reached it to some degree, but deep down he still cares. So there's still that part of him that you can pull back. This is all of his feelings coming in there, and he's like, he can touch souls, right? He says souls are just another mechanism, it's just a part of the body, right? And it's nothing special, right? It's just life. People hold too much value on that. And he gives him like one system of morality, which is everything is allowed if you desire it to be so, because, right, it's a natural thing, right? Souls are nothing special, and you're not gonna land in hell if you're gonna do something gruesome. So why hesitate if it's something that you want to do? And he smiles at that, and I can relate to that, right? It's way easier and less complicated to just eliminate or get rid of all of the people that hate you, that don't like you, that don't interact with you well. If it's morally right, well, that's subjective, right? Morality is, in a sense, subjective, and all of our moral standards that we've developed is because of societal standards, and also because we have empathy with other people, right? So we do understand other people to a degree, and we don't want to do horrible things to them, or we don't want to, for example, kill somebody and then find out that whoever we murdered had relatives or whatever that are actually pretty nice people and will suffer from that loss, because that is a thing. It's easy to just imagine that bad people do have people that love them, yes, but or like them or are part of their family, but all of these people are bad as well. It's not as clear cut as this, right? So it's always difficult, and people like Yuji think of that. And even beyond like just people missing the person who died, they also think of the fact that for them, this is not something that is alright to do. This is not how they grew up. This is not how they got taught, right? Yuji from his grandfather. Megumi from his, I don't know, I forgot the name. The girl he keeps seeing in his memories, and we do have Nobara with I think Satori it was, and they're following that little cutback to like they're doing fine, it's just being thrown around and all that shit. We're making the plan. Really cool that we sometimes go into this like video game metaphor kind of style. That is, if nothing else, the personal signature of the author, probably. His own subjective like world finding its way into the creation and just showing what kind of person he is. We do see the same with Akka in Kaguya and whatever. And we do explain a little bit something about, right? Cursed spirits, 1, 2, whatever. We generally letting the two go up against one another, right? If you have a level of like 1 sorcerer, they can beat like a level 1 grade, right? 2 a little bit better than a curse, grade 2 a cursed spirit and whatever. And then we have the specials but Yuji's like, Gojo ain't didn't tell me anything about that. I like, oh god, why is he so irresponsible? But that's Gojo, right? That's his style. He's just like, we make it up as we go. And he has a lot of important lessons to tell, right? We don't need to exposition dump all of it immediately. And holy shit, I'm so bad with names. Our friend here is going up against Mahito, and he is he can do it, right? And he's like, he kind of is like Gojo. Gojo has the same energy, like, oh yes, I smile and smile, but I'm gonna murder you. Mahito, kind of the incarnation of human animosity, so to speak. Picture perfect from all of the sinister strength behind it. And they're fighting, and it's really cool. The camera, right? The camera following them, the way we do shift around in the environment. We use the full scope of our 3D environment. I think we just made two full turns here. And only then we start, right, with the... I do love these shots, and Jujutsu Kaisen seems to use them a lot. Just going in and letting bodies flow past one another, almost like it's a dance, a choreography in a way. Pulling back, poking and prodding, right? And the crazy faces, right? The eye, look at that. You know, we zoom in pretty far, right? We start with this, right? The perspective of seeing the drawn weapon but out of focus, and his face with determination being in focus. And we go in one and we see the eyes more clearly. We go in another, see the eyes more clearly. And now we're in on that shot, right? And it's fluid movement. The minds still see that as fluid movement. Not sure if I like this, like the display, the way it's displayed where he searches for the weakness. I mean, I understand, right, intuitively what is being meant by that, but I don't like it as much. What I like, however, is the fizziness on the animation. We go from this like half an arm, but we still see it as like coherent movement. It's behind his back and he's coming in for a swing, right? And you do have that delayed impact here. And he explains that he's shaping his own soul. Classic villain explaining his own stuff, but I guess in a way it's also him spouting his ideology out, right? Him being like trying to brag with it to a degree, right? Because he knows he has the upper hand. And Yoshino here, being held up by don't you love it when your teacher's just walking by you being like, oh yeah, he's getting bullied, I'm just gonna ignore that, and next time we meet I'm gonna talk as if you are all friends, right? Because I know for a fact these kinds of people exist, right? And they're not malicious, they're just very complacent in what's happening because they don't want the trouble for themselves, right? They don't want to go, but sorry, if you are somebody who educates people, if you are somebody who is a person of authority in this society, you should at least take up the responsibility and do something about this, right? If it's happening, if you see it blatantly happening, because earlier he walked by the window, he saw that, he was like, I'm just gonna pretend I didn't see that. Because he ain't that dumb, right? He ain't that dumb to believe that they're friends. He is kind of a rat, not gonna lie. So yeah, I understand not wanting any trouble. It's still not okay. I'll sanction you fully. I absolve you of all your sins, right? I say it's okay, so you can do it. Don't worry about it. And this is one system he learns, but he meets Yuji. And Yuji's like, look, bro, look. This isn't how I want to. Interesting, he notices the button. Maybe he met 𝔸𝕓, but 𝔸𝕓 doesn't have a button like that, so... I do wonder. Well, we'll probably find out. And he's going into personal space. Should we talk about personal space again? He's doing the same thing that that Gojo did when they met for the first time, just getting super close to him and looking him in the eyes. But the eyes are a window to the soul, or so the saying goes. And Yuji, in his usual brash manner, is really... He is making an impression on him. He's making an impression on Yoshino. So yeah. That gaze, that shows me that he is like, oh, okay, this is an unusual guy. I guess I'll listen to what he has to say. Very interesting. I do wonder what comes out of this. And I do wonder the two of them clashing. Who's gonna say like, the swishiness is like how he's forming these bodies, right? He's sculpting them as he goes. And we do have some very, very close calls here. Sliding on the surface, and he's really enjoying himself. And we do find out that he is actually, that he's first grade. Very cool, very interesting. Human conflict is an interesting thing, really. Like, thinking about it. There's so much animosity going on in the world, and everybody has their own motives, right? It doesn't make it okay to do the things you're doing if you're doing an injustice to other people, if you're causing hurt and pain in other people. That's not okay just because there's a reason for it, right? And I think even if we feel ourselves to be in the right, or if we don't realize what we're doing to other people, we should always question ourselves in that regard. We should always look at ourselves and say, okay, what is what I am doing evoking in somebody else, right? What is it doing with them? Because if we go through life just hurting other people, it's gonna come around and bite us in the ass at some point, right? I do truly believe that. And I don't believe that because of some karmic force or whatever, but I do think that in a way what we put out there in terms of energy, right, in terms of like positive or negative influence, it kind of can reflect back on us. It will not always reflect back on us, and that is the problem. Sometimes you just learn the wrong lessons. You do learn that you feel better if you push somebody else down because you feel like you're better than them. You do feel better, or you don't get punished when you do something that you maybe shouldn't be doing, right? So you do it more and more, and you get clever at hiding it, and you don't get punished. And maybe at that point you've learned it so much that when you actually end up getting punished, you are the one who feels like you've been wronged, right? You feel like the victim in the situation, despite it being far from the reality of what other people observe. But that is how our subjective reality works, right? You yourself have a very unique perspective on the world, and it is shaped not only by what your eyes and your ears take in and your sense of touch and all the other ones, but it is also shaped by how you grew up, right? What lessons you learned, who you see as your friends, who you see as your enemies, right? What you see as justice and what you don't. And all of that comes down to parents and peers and how we interact with them. And sometimes all of the people that are involved in these things are to some degree responsible for it getting to the point that it's getting to. Obviously, that shouldn't absolve any of these individual people from looking at themselves and being like, could I be better than that? Should I do what I'm doing right now? Yeah. I'd be very curious to see how he gets out of this. I have no idea. But yeah. That was Jujutsu Kaisen episode 9 and 10. a couple of interesting episodes, and we're still not done with this arc. We're still not done with this cliffhanger. I do assume that the tournament arc is going to come after that. We had some stuff sprinkled in here, and we have the very clear statement that this is going to come up in a couple of months. But we do have that in between where we see and learn what experiences Yuji is making and what impact he has on other people. Once again, Yuji being like the central point who is like going to other people and actually impressing them with the person he is. Due to various aspects, right? There's various aspects that people like Nobara or Megumi or Gojo see in Yuji that inspires them or makes them interested in Yuji and like him. So, can't wait to see the next one. Can't wait to see how our friend is gonna get out of this, and how things go with Yuji and Yoshino. Yeah, if you do like my content, check out the Discord, check out the Patreon if that is something for you. We do have some early access going on there for Jujutsu Kaisen 2. It's possible that at this point, I don't know how because I don't do Jujutsu Kaisen all that regularly, but it's possible that right now there is already Jujutsu Kaisen episode 11 or episode 11 and 12 on the Patreon. So check that out if you feel interested in doing that. I do have other series as well. Other than that, I would love if you give me a like and subscribe to the channel. That would be really cool. But I'll see you next time then.